Broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to episode 252 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challen, with co-host Zach Carlson. This is your dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. Hey, Zach.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. Good to be back. We recorded almost a month ago. It was like January 2nd, it's January 29th, and I just now posted that episode.
Jesus.
So, yeah, there's that. Busy doing other things, including Patriot Patch Company. Check out the Patch of the Month Club at patriotpatch.co. Also have a bunch of new designs coming out. We've got the cleaning mats, got the aluminum signs for your man cave, and so much more. patriotpatch.co. So, how many guns have you bought in the last 3 weeks?
3 weeks? Ooh, I don't know. I've been too busy watching YouTube and these videos that you keep sending me to check out. I was on a kick of, Weston Chaplain. Is it Chaplain? I can't remember exactly now, but yeah, Weston and Kansas. And, the one that got me, you started the whole deal by telling me about his Cummins swap to F250, F350, whatever. So cool. And then it kind of went from there, and I just kind of kept watching, and, it's pretty cool just to see, kind of a young kid. I think he turned 21 in the middle of those videos. I saw a birthday party, for him in there. And that's pretty crazy that he's, got a million followers or more now, I guess. But yeah, when I checked it, it was 1 million, and, making cool videos with just building junk, basically, like buying cars from auction and fixing them and making these crazy swaps that you wouldn't think. He literally put a Cummins in a 2015 Ford Mustang. Yeah. It's called the Smokestang. Yeah. It's insane. It looks pretty darn cool too. I don't know how to want to drive it, but it looks cool.
I really like how it goes to show how quote unquote garage mechanics can do some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And make it look cool too and drive cool. It doesn't have to just be the professionals. Like so many of the car shows on Motor Trend, I just can't watch because it's like a pristine, clean garage and setting and studio and everything. And I'm like, stop it. That's not what it's really like. And you skip all the stuff that is screwed up. I don't want to.
That's so funny because I was about to say, I wish Weston had the lighting of those studios because when you're watching Wheeler Dealers or somebody like that, you can actually see what the hell they're doing down in there. And he's taking a GoPro in his hand and he's shaking all around and has a flashlight somewhere. And then they do these fast cuts back to his face to talk to the camera. And it's okay, there's a little production value I value.
Well, I have to thank Mark Hookham for hooking us up on some of these YouTube channels about car stuff. They're pretty great. The one I'm on is Vice Grip Garage.
Oh my God, I am too. I have watched so many of them, and I'll be dipped. I got my kid saying I'll be dipped. He runs around the house saying, well, I'll be dipped. And then if something doesn't work for me, I'm like, help me understand.
Or come on here, let me hook your peepers over on this.
He reminds me of your dad almost in a lot of ways. Just as the talk that, when he talks sometimes, it just reminds me of that. But
yeah. It's good stuff. I love him, how he finds these cars that are in the middle of a field and gets them up and running and drives them sometimes hundreds of miles home. Like cars you would never in a million years think you'd get running.
I don't know why he even puts the effort into half of these cars though, because he's in Minnesota, right? So there's everything is just rotted to beyond belief. And I'm like, why wouldn't you move to somewhere where they don't rust and then do this? Cause then you can have a valuable car at the end. But he does all this work to have a car that's worth $500.
Well, that's what I like about it. Cause Roadkill and Roadkill Garage, they do really cool old cars, but they're in, Southern California, Arizona, or, that area they get these cars from. And these cars are just awesome because they're not rusted out and they've got the patina and, they've been in this dry climate all their lives. But that's the thing I like about Vice Grip Garage is it's rusty junk like we grew up around and that's around me now so I can relate. I'm like, hey, maybe, I don't have to feel so bad about what I have.
I just think I don't know all the effort is worth what he gets out of it when he's done because he has to have so much work. Like he did this huge like 70 Cadillac and everything and it's like it looked cool like it was but it was just disgusting. Like I think he buys every car with a pond in the floorboards. Like he just
the way he describes smells is the best.
Yeah. It's really good. It's a very, very, very good show to watch. So anybody that you want to like get out of the depression of guns after a while and all the politics surrounding it, it's nice to go to the gun or to the car side and see some good humor and some. And you know what I really like about Vice Grip Garage though? He uses all Harbor Freight tools. So it's like, he's like, that orange handled ratchet or that green handled ratchet. You're like, I know that. I've seen that. That says Pittsburgh on it right there. Yeah. So he's very the everyman of it and that's cool. So if you're looking for some content, Vice Grip Garage.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll dive into one of my segments here since it's car related, since I was cruising down the highway, not going really that fast. And so it's not that far from my house either. I'm just running to Menards and I see, this car coming at me. I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like Highway Patrol. Oh, that is Highway Patrol. Oh, they're turning around now. And I just go and set the cruise control and usually I set it for about 76 or so. Speed limit 65. I set for 76. But like this is a big wide open blacktop. No one's on it. And, don't tell me how fast I can drive.
Excuse me. I thought this was America.
Right. So I get pulled over and, it's a lady cop. She comes up to the passenger side.
Wait, they allow that in South Dakota?
She comes up to the passenger side and she's like, I pull you over because you're speeding. I'm like, yeah, I know. She's like, license, registration, everything. And, and I'm always carry, so I'm carrying, but I do not have duty to inform. So I just kind of go about it, play it by ear. And I had already took my wallet out before she even pulled me over. I knew she was gonna whipped out the wallet. And, so I had that license, but then she's like registration and insurance. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like, well, I'm going to have to open the glove box for that. And she's like right by the glove box. She's like, okay, go ahead. And so I don't make any, quick movements and I dig the stuff out. And, she's like,
is there a gun in the glove box?
Luckily there wasn't.
Okay.
So, no, the gun's on me. And at that point, she's like, well, I'm going to have you come on back and sit with me while I run all this. I'm like,
ooh, that's never a good feeling.
I'm like, I carry. So she's like, oh, that's all right. I'll just have you step to the back of the vehicle and I'll disarm you and put it in the front seat.
I hate that.
I'm like, I asked her, I said, can you just like unclip it with the holster? Cause it's loaded. And she's like, yeah, sure. Or something. I'm like, yeah. And I'm looking right at her. I'm like, well, there's a round in the chamber. I'm like trying to, get it through to her that, this thing can go bang. And
so you're trying to mansplain guns to a woman.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And she's like,
a woman that carries a gun on her hip for a profession.
I know. Cause after that, she responded, oh, I know how to handle firearms. I handle my own, So I get out. I'm like, what choice do I have now? Like, sure, you could be like, you're not touching my gun and,
and get shot.
Yeah, pretty much. So I, go to the back of the vehicle. She's like, put your hands up. So she pulls it out, puts it on the front seat. No big deal. And, she pulled it out with the holster like I asked. And then she had me get in the car and she's not wearing a mask or anything. And I go to get in the car. I'm like, I got this like bad head cold. I don't know how paranoid.
Sounds like excuses after excuses here. Sounds like you're trying to get out of jury duty.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, she has me sit in the car, and I had this happen before when I got pulled over in Iowa years ago, but that time I didn't carry or couldn't carry yet. So she's like, going through everything. She's like, were you using like any speed assist devices? Or she was like, you're in a hurry? Or I'm like, no, just going to Menards. She's like, how fast do you think you were going? I'm like, I was going 76. She's like, yep, exactly 76. I'm like, she again, she's like, kind of in a hurry or using a speed control device or something. I'm like, well, I had to cruise on. I always set it for 76. She's like, oh, thanks for being honest.
She's, I'll see you later.
Yeah, she's like, well, the State Highway Patrol doesn't allow you to go that fast. I'm like, okay.
Like, say, well, I don't follow man's laws.
Right. That's what I felt like saying, but yeah, I don't know. I asked her about her car and stuff, and we had a conversation. She was nice. Still gave me a ticket. So there's that.
The good luck highway patrol or troopers or whatever, they always seem to be ticket monsters. But what was the point of you being back in the seat with her? That's what I'm lost on.
I think they do that a lot, and it's just some states that do that or some departments, but I think they want to have a conversation with you. They can tell if you're a little high or something, or, got something going on maybe.
Can I ask what you were driving?
I was driving the Yukon. So it wasn't anything terrible even that I was driving.
I was going to say, were they surprised it could go 76?
No,
because I was like, to be honest, I was shocked that you had a car that had cruise control.
I've won. Thank you.
You have one out of how many?
Well, I mean, they all have it. It's just,
okay, operable.
Yeah. So no, it's one of our nicer vehicles. So it's not like she pulled me over because it was a complete, pile of garbage. So I don't know. It worked out. Didn't get shot with my own gun. That was a big thing.
Yeah. 76 seems like a high cruise point. Like it's 60 here on most roads, and I do 68, and that's usually pushing it because I've been pulled over at 67.
Yeah. Well, it's 65, so I don't know. I guess, man, they're hardly
That's
ever
11 over.
Well, and I told her, I'm like, there's never anyone out here. She's like, well, actually, I just live down there a little ways, and so it's easy for me to cut over here. I'm like, oh, great. I'm like,
so now I would have to be on the lookout for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have to be on a different road. Yeah. So
I've really considered buying a radar detector, but I think that just pisses them off when they do pull you over. They're like, oh, yeah, what's this?
Right.
Definite ticket. Because I've very rarely gotten, like, the amount of times I've been pulled over to the times I've actually gotten tickets is pretty low, actually, all things considered. So I've gotten pretty lucky. It's just my lovable, charming face, I think. But
well, that's like the first time in 10 years I've been pulled over for speeding, and I've sped way more than that. And like a lot of times I drive faster than that, even on that road. And then I got home and told Jenny, and she's like, oh, I was just driving 80 the other day. Back and forth there. I'm like, oh, well.
I think I learned my true privilege on all that because when I got pulled over, it's like, I don't care, whatever, give me a ticket, I'll pay it, whatever, Let's move on. It's not like I'm not even going to argue with you, I don't give a shit.
So I do want to, kind of tip my hat to Emily of the South Dakota State Highway Patrol because she, when I told her I had a gun and everything, she didn't like get, all antsy or anything like some officers do. She was very cool, calm, and collected the whole time, professional. So that was a relief. So I hope.
So if you have no duty to form, why did you say anything?
Because I didn't want to get in a cop car and have a gun on me. And then she's like, oh my God, you have a gun on you?
How would she see it? You're in the passenger seat. You carry on the right side, right?
Well, I don't know if she runs me. Does it say I have a concealed carry permit? And then is she going to be like, I
would assume so.
Are you carrying? And then if she,
in my opinion, if she wanted to know that, she should have asked you before she put that in the car.
Yeah.
Put you in the car.
Well, you know what's funny though? She never asked me if I had a permit because actually in South Dakota, you don't have to have a permit. So she never even mentioned a permit whatsoever. So I thought that was cool.
Well, I guess if it's constitutional, you have constitutional carry then. So I guess, yeah, why would she ask you if it's, and if you have no duty to inform either way, then I think it's one of those things. Every time I've ever said anything, they all get jittery about it. But every time I've never said anything about it, never had a problem. I've had guns right in the door panel, right next to them, like everywhere. I think they've seen it. Never had an issue. Just never say anything. They never say anything.
Yeah. So, but that's been like one of my fears. Like ever since I started carrying was getting pulled over while carrying, like how bad it could go. Cause you've seen, there's videos of people being disarmed by police and getting shot with their own gun and stuff. So, I mean, there is cause for concern. I thought about bringing that up with her, but I thought better of it.
Did you get it? What? Tell her that you saw internet videos that people have been shot by cops. Like that's not a good jumping off point with a conversation.
Yeah.
Do they have body cameras in South Dakota Highway Patrol?
I didn't even notice. I have no idea.
They would have told you if they did.
Oh.
Almost everyone says right when they get to your window, like you're being recorded right now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I would have noticed it. She did have an AR just right, like between the seats. She was driving a Charger, so right behind the console. Yeah.
Well, luckily she didn't put you in the back of the seat of a Charger because the back seat in the Charger is horrible because the window slopes so fast down. We had one as a rental car one time and it was horrible back seats. Horrible.
Anyways, so what have you been up to?
3 weeks, lots of guns. Well, actually not lots of guns. Lots of guns considering the market that we are in. So, are you
taking guns out of poor people's hands, like people that are looking to buy their first gun? Are you depriving them?
No, they can have all the high points and little guns that they want, but no, these are good. These are good guns. Did we talk about RSR before last week? I think we did. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So everybody knows, a lot of people don't know, but there's this big distributor company called RSR. That's a lot of gun shops that you buy from locally have accounts there, and that's where they get product and guns and everything. And it's a very popular one. And, I had some conversations with some guys and I was just like, man, there's nothing in stock. That's what we've talked before. We sort by ammunition and see what calibers are in stock. As of this morning, it was four pieces of ammo out of 2,100 different SKUs.
Jeez.
But anyways, you never, anything's in stock. And so what I was told, I heard this little tidbit about, just putting everything on your wish list because they have this wish list functionality and then just keep refreshing the page. And if something comes into stock, you'll catch it. So I literally got this browser extension that refreshes the page every so many seconds that you want to set it to. So I was refreshing the page every minute first, and then stuff would pop into stock and I would hit, add to cart and boom, already out of stock. It's like, okay, so 1 minute's too long. I'm going to do 10 seconds. Boom, still out of stock. And I was like, God dang. I know they're popular, but this is crazy. 5 seconds. I did a 5-second refresh. So I have 3 monitors that work. So I just open this window and leave it over on this far window on the monitor and just refresh every 5 seconds. And there's when something comes into stock, there's a little orange pop-up that says, in stock or whatever. So I was like, boom, it catches my eye if I'm working on my main screen. Well, I was able to get, just by doing that functionality, I've gotten enough PMags to carry me through as needed. I think I got 20 or 30 PMags total. I sold some to, I let a guy at work buy some of them because I didn't really need that many, but it's like you go to live auctions or been to live auctions, you kind of get caught up in it. Oh my God, I gotta get it. It's available. Boom, and buy it. So I got swept up in the fever there for a while, but, got a bunch of PMags. I bought another Surefire pistol light and stuff like that, but, Glocks had popped up. I've been wanting a Gen 5 Glock again for whatever reason. I don't know why. I come and go. I've already had multiples, but I want another one. So I put it on the thing, and the first day I did this refresh thing, a Gen 5 Glock popped up and I boom, hit it. That's one of the first ones I lost the battle with. Cause one shows up and you're there's probably thousands of people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And, so I missed that one, but then I went to, a local company, kind of like a small Walmart that's called Buy Mart out here. And they are, we're a small town of 4,000 people. So I went in there and they had a Gen 4 or Gen 5 G19, not the MOS. I wanted the MOS ideally, but they had the regular one. And it was only at MAP, which is rare because MAP is $539 and I think, retail is, or MSRP is $600 or somewhere in there. And if you search for that same SKU, online with gun.deals or something, they're selling for $640 and stuff so $100 over MAP, which is crazy. And they had it and I was like, oh man, that's a sign. I should buy this gun. And so I didn't want to pay MAP really, but I was like, okay, well it's in stock. I can get it. And then I forgot about this, 10-day waiting period BS in Washington State now. And I was like, well, I'm already on a FFL. Can I just transfer to the FFL and then I'll just get it on my own time?
Yeah.
And they're like, the first lady like glazed over eyes, like had no idea what I was talking about. And I'm like, okay, probably not a super common request. But then one lady did know. And then I showed her the FFL. I'm like, here it is on my phone, and she's like, oh no, I have to have a paper copy. And I'm like, okay, do you got a printer? I'll airdrop it over there if you want, like I'll print it right now if you want. And then I said, well, I'm an RP on this FFL, but it's not mine. She goes, oh no, I have to have that guy here and he has to sign it in front of me. I'm like, really? Okay. And I got frustrated at that point. I was like, whatever, that's a sign. I don't need it. I'll walk away.
Yeah.
Then I came back like a week later and they still had it.
What?
So I don't know if they had like 20 of them and then one sold and they just kept filling the shelf, but like they had a 19X, they had this Gen 3, 519, they had like a G26. This is crazy. Like there's only one 4-foot display case full of pistols. Everything else is just like ammo. Like it's like a regular, like a non-super center Walmart, like an old Walmart. That's what it looks like. And I'm like, I don't know how they're getting these guns for the first place, but crazy. And, so then I was like, this is a sign. Maybe I need it again. Well, then fast forward, but I held off because I was like, this is not a pain. This is going to be a pain in the ass. And then, fast forward to the other day, I had a different gun. So you remember I had the Beretta 21A, a little tip barrel 22 pistol that I had threaded for suppressors and everything. Well, shortly after I had that gun modified, Beretta announced they made that same gun, but it doesn't have to have that clunky adapter because they built the barrel properly with the threads right from the get-go. So I put on my wish list with another distributor long ago and kind of forgot about it. Well, I get an email saying, hey, do you still need this Beretta? And I'm like, well, I don't need, but I'll take it. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, give it to me. And then he emails back and he says, I also have this Gen 519 MOS for you if you want it. I'm like, well, this is my lucky day. All right. I'm going to take it. So I'm not super religious, but I kind of believe in like just those kind of feelings and signs you kind of get, and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this actually did work out because I was going to go back and buy it eventually, but, I held out and I got the gun I wanted for the price I wanted and I don't have to deal with all the other crap that goes along with it. So it worked out, doubly or triply in my favor, I guess, in that situation. So I have a Beretta 21A, I think they call it the Covert, which is just the, suppressor ready little tip barrel.
Assassin's
that
gun.
Coming. Yeah, those super loud assassins.
So what does that run?
I don't know what the retail is on it. It's let me look. I will double check that. It's cool. The gun that I had converted is a stainless steel model. This one is black. So it's a little different, but let's see here. It is the 21 Bobcat Covert and it's the black model. Map is $480 basically. MSRP 530.
It's more than I thought it would be. Huh.
Yeah. They're not cheap, but, it's neat. Kind of neat. So now I'll have a pair of them so I can shoot two bad guys at once, I guess. But yeah, that MOS gun that I was talking about, so the MOS guns are a little bit more expensive. The map on those are $620 and the MSRP is $745. But like those guns they're getting way over what they should for a Glock. Like online. I don't know if it's just because it's online and people are taking the convenience factor out or what the deal is, but I was not prepared to pay for that. So that's what I've got coming pistol-ish wise, but the other part of my RSR refresh adventure, I put a bunch of MP5 stuff on, just like mags, MP5s, what if they came in stock and everything? Cause I think we talked about, I put an MP5 on order and kind of didn't know if I was going to get it or not, but the MP5 BB gun came into stock. So it's literally an Umarex, HK licensed, just actual BB gun, not airsoft, but true BBs again. And I thought, I don't need this at all. It was a K model too, so that's kind of cool. And so I was like, yeah, it was pretty cheap and there was only 5 and I'm glad I grabbed one because within that same day, they were all gone. So I got that coming. It's pretty neat. It's got a little bit of a plasticky feel to it because, it's a BB gun, but like they even molded in the weld marks, cause the, HK is flats and then welded, so you got the little puddles of weld lines, and, they had that in the plastic, which I thought was kind of interesting, and it's pretty neat. It's, it locks back, you pull, just got the HK slap and everything. It's got a folding stock on it.
That's cool.
And I've not shot it. It even has a 3-lug adapter on it, and then it has a flash hider that attaches via 3-lug or tri-lug, whatever you want to call it. And, that's kind of neat. So it's pretty true to form. I'll be curious when I get my real one, how close it is in size, but I assume it's a 1-to-1 copy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's a licensed copy, right? And that's the whole point.
So is it,
but I got that.
Is it CO2 or?
Yeah. So it uses, remember the standard, like, what is those 12 gram, little CO2 canisters. Do you guys have BB guns for your kids?
I've got a couple classic Red Ryder looking ones, but I don't have anything CO2 powered.
I either don't remember how much CO2 used to be or am shocked that it went up so much. But that's the reason I went back to Bi-Mart, is because the gun came in, but I didn't order any CO2 or BBs or anything. So I was going to go buy them locally. So I went and bought a canister of, like a jug of BBs, and, I think it was 25, CO2 canisters was like, it was up there. It was like over $1 a canister.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember how much it was now, but it seemed expensive. And I was like, well, cause I think you only get like 30 or 40 shots per canister, if I remember right.
Probably.
It's not a lot, obviously. So I haven't shot it yet. We'll see.
But it's steel BBs. It's not airsoft.
Yeah. It's the steel.
That's cool. Huh.
Straight up, whatever those, I know the pellets are 177 caliber, but is that what a BB size is too? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might be, but I don't know.
Yeah. I got the, the classic copperhead gold, BBs. Yeah. And if that gun works out, I think I would not be opposed to buying that, the DPMS SBR AR 15 looking full auto one that's just bullet hose. That I've seen videos on it. That's a little more expensive, but I was like, well, if I get one BB gun, you can't just have one. So
right.
It might be worth getting two, and you can't buy ammo right now. So maybe like if I can get some BBs and just have some fun with that versus actual ammo, then maybe it's worth it.
Gotta have something to shoot the package thieves with.
Yeah. No porch pirates.
Yeah.
So I got the BB gun HK coming, and then, just the other day I got an order confirmation from HK, and I was like, ooh. Does this mean they just put the order in? Even though I ordered it months ago? I was like, this is scary. And then I saw on the line, it said estimated availability date 2/8.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, is this becoming real? Is this actually happening? And, then just yesterday my credit card got charged. So I think I have an MP5 coming soon.
Awesome.
I am super excited. Now I'm on the hunt for some parts because I have no parts, and same thing with the 19. I need to order some MOS plates for it and stuff. So now I have to go back into buy mode and try to hunt and peck for some parts. But yeah, I'm excited. I went from no gun buying recently to that's 3 guns in as many days.
Well, you can sell those PMags for what, $30, $35 a piece, right?
Well, it depends. They're trying to, it depends what legislation happens, I guess. But yeah, I purposely kept everything in package. Like I'm only taking the ones out of the package as I need them because I have a lot of other PMags. But, when I started putting mags in plate carriers and leaving them loaded, and then the war belts, and like you start staging these mags loaded places, and you're like, well, actually I don't have that many mags. Maybe I do need some more. So I think I ended up with like 30 or so total, 30 or 35, something like that. Which sounds like a lot, but it's really not once you start spreading it out throughout multiple guns and multiple locations.
All right. So I guess the other thing I'm up to trying to expand Patriot Patch Company and the other things I do. So I actually rented a location here in my small town here in South Dakota.
Like a retail location? Like an office?
Like a retail storefront. So this has an old downtown, like, many of these little towns. So it's an old downtown storefront. Like 20 years ago, it was a flower shop. But it's pretty much an open space, 3 sections. So I'm going to move, a lot of my operations up there because I've hired, 2 part-time people to, help me take a lot of things off my plate, plus to expand into screen printing again.
Do they know what they're in for?
Oh, they have no idea.
Because these are non-family members, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which might be better. So we'll see. So the other thing I did was I speaking of online auctions, I found this screen printing, business out in Sturgis, South Dakota, that it was an estate sale. This guy had ran this, it was like belt buckles and t-shirts for all the bikers, you know.
I was say, is it all Harley shirts?
It's all biker stuff. They had like thousands and thousands of buckles and stuff. And, but I saw he had a complete t-shirt operation, multiple presses. One's a big,
like a big circular thing with like every, flips around, spins around, that kind of thing.
Yeah. A manual one, and then a big automated, industrial one that's pneumatic. So it's kind of robotic. It does pretty much everything for you. You just have to put shirts on, take them off. So I ended up buying all the screen printing side of that business. And then I had to go out there and pick it all up, which turned out to be an adventure.
Well, how far is Sturgis from you?
It's about 6 hours. So,
ooh, dang.
Yeah, other side of the state, the Black Hills.
So you only did the spring screen, you didn't get the belt buckles or anything?
No, I bought some pins and stuff, but yeah, I just bought the equipment. So it's more than I ever had before when I was doing it. It's a big professional setup for the most part. So we're going to get that up and running in the new building and go from there.
How big is this new building?
Not big. I wish it was bigger, but there's only one available currently. So, but there are other things I think will come up, so I might be able to expand into nearby buildings there too. So
we're talking like 1,000 square feet or like what?
It's it's like 16 or 1,800. It's not gigantic, but it's way more than I'm working out of now. So
it's like a 3-car garage, double deep, basically, roughly, something like that.
Maybe, yeah. It has just the right amount of space for everything we're expanding into, so should work out.
So you did all that work to get your shop working for the business, and then you're pulling the business out?
Well, no, I'm still going to have my office here. I'm still doing all my office work here, still doing some stuff here, but it'll give me room here to do some new stuff I want to get into as well. So I like to get a 3D printer here at some point, start dabbling in that and some other stuff. So
what you need is a car lift and some GoPros and be the Vice Grip Garage South Dakota edition, like a spin-off.
Yeah.
And then you could rake in the YouTube millions.
Yeah, but then that would ruin, like, that's my only escape right now is watching all those awesome car videos. So I don't want to ruin that.
That's the natural progression. You ruin your hobbies by making the monetization policy with them.
I don't want to do that again. Nope. I do want to get a lift someday. I'm like, I see all these guys doing stuff without lifts. I'm like, I'm too old for that. I don't want to do that.
I don't even know why he got a 4-post lift on the Vice Grip. I saw his old videos where he didn't have a lift, and he must have got sponsored because they put a huge sticker right there in front of it where you see in the view. But
well, I can see I thought about that. Because I looked that lift up, and I think the advantage that he sees in it. Because if you noticed, he's moved it around to different parts of that shop. So the advantage,
is it rolling?
Well, it doesn't have to be bolted down. It's got big flat plates it sits on. So if there's not a car on it, you can, shove it to another part of the shop. Because for a while he had a big truck up on it, out of the way. So it's kind of like storage and movable. So I can kind of see why you might want that in some scenarios.
Yeah. I don't like how much it blocks when you're trying to work on like the suspension and stuff. You lose some of that, where you can poke your head around and all that, but it works. I mean, you can still lift the wheels up at those little spreader bar jacks that you put in there. Okay. So you got a retail location. Are you already moving in?
We'll be soon. Yeah. We're going to start doing some stuff up here this week and start.
Are you going to have a storefront as well in there, or is it just an office basically for you to work out of?
No,
or a production facility.
And I've had people ask if they can stop by and stuff, and nope, sorry, there's still not going to be a storefront. Eventually, maybe. I just don't have the time in the day to have it open to the public ever. And we're not going to get local business for patches or anything like that is the other thing. I mean, this is a small town like you and I went to high school in. It's just, there's no one shopping for patches there. They do have a rodeo, every year. That's like the big thing for the town is rodeo days they have. And it was actually voted rodeo of the year here in South Dakota last year or in 2020.
Is there already a spring screen printing company in town?
Mm-mm.
So are you going to try to take some of that local business for like the rodeo shirts and like the 4-H and all,
I hope so.
all that?
I hope so. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. I hope we can partner with people and get some of that hometown pride going and everything.
Well, I think that's where like American screen printing is valuable is for that stuff. Cause like you're not gonna be able to compete on price to China on t-shirts, like just in bulk, but like when an event or a corporate event or any kind of, school function or whatever needs shirts, like that's where the local screen printers really shine.
Yeah. Yep. That's the plan. So, and this downtown has a lot of cool buildings. I looked at another one, but it is just filled with junk and the roof's leaking and but that building is massive because it's like over 2,000 square feet for each level, so you'd be over 4,000 square feet total. It's a big, beautiful building, but it's if it doesn't get saved this year, it's not going to get saved. And like some of these buildings, you run into the problem where they don't have a title or they have liens on them, and they're really not worth any money. So,
wait, did you buy this building or renting it?
Well, I'm renting this one for now.
Okay, I was gonna say it's okay.
The owners actually mentioned they want to sell it, but I'm gonna rent it, see how it goes. So,
I would rent a retail. I'm curious. I mean, I would assume office space and retail space, maybe not in South Dakota, but I know the prices have gone down since a lot of those businesses couldn't make it, kind of thing.
Yeah, especially in these small towns, it's pretty affordable. So.
Can you get internet there? Good internet?
Yeah. Wow. So I do have fiber, but I had the fiber guy there and he's like, you don't have fiber. I'm like, what do you mean I don't have fiber? You guys trenched, I was told they trenched the whole downtown. He's like, yeah, but if it was a vacant building, they didn't trench up to it. So, and like half the buildings are vacant. So I think they skipped a lot of them, but he was able to, there was an extra line on the neighbor and he was able to tap into that for now. And then in the spring, he said they'd trench in. So yeah,
that's good.
Have fiber, it has a bathroom, which is great. That was one of my, sticking points out here is I don't have restrooms in the shop here. So I can't really have employees out here.
You got windows, just sling it out there.
What do the ladies do?
Well, same, but put it in a bucket first. So how did you find these employees?
A local Facebook group.
Just like one of those town type Facebook groups.
Yeah. My town Facebook group, pretty much. Yeah, that's what it is. So put the call out, had a couple days of interviews, and yeah, so that worked out pretty well. But it's funny, in a small town, people were like, where is this? When is it opening? Who are you?
And like, you make patches? Yeah. Like to cover holes or what?
Yeah, pretty much.
Huh. Well, that's cool. Are you nervous?
No, not at all. I'm excited.
Well, that's good. I mean, just the responsibility of taking, once you have employees, you're kind of responsible for their financial well-being too. So it's a little more pressure than, just making or breaking it on your own.
Yeah, I think, knock on wood, we have a good future ahead of us. I positive, I could have done much more business this year if I had the help. And there's things I could have made more money on if I, had the help. So I think it's a good time. And I've got to make a change. I mean, I just can't keep doing it. Everything, myself, so, and,
I think we talked about this a little bit a while ago. It's good that you're actually pushing forward.
Yeah, I talked about how I wasn't really sure if I ever wanted employees, so there's that. Yeah. But I'm to the point where I need them, and I don't really know what else to do because up against the wall with what I can do. I keep falling farther and farther and farther behind on so many things where I thought I would be caught up by now, you know. So yeah, that's where we're at. I think Ryan's excited too that I can, you know, focus more on the building the business and stuff and working with him more on doing more cool designs, because I really haven't even had time to work with him much to bring out new designs. You know, I know he's chomping at the bit on stuff, and I'm just, you know, the day to day is just packed, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I imagine, you know, I just look at the day to day stuff that we do at Lone Wolf, and like, you know, if we didn't have the amount of people we do, like, it just wouldn't happen. Like I had a visitor in our office this week, and, you know, kind of doing everything with them the multiple days, just 3 days, and just coming home and looking at my email and just looking how far behind email was just in that 3 days. And I was already at my computer. So I like the urgent ones you responded to right away. But you know, that stuff just, I think people take for granted how much the day to day grind actually takes to make a business run. And I think the only thing I would suggest to you on employees, you know, it is nerve-wracking with employees, and we've really made a shift at Lone Wolf to really hire good team members. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, that is the one top priority. You know, all jobs are trainable. Like we're not doing rocket science. We're making stuff, putting it in a box, and shipping it to customers. Like, this is not rocket science.
Yeah.
We don't need brain surgeons doing this work. Like, it really matters the personality that you have, the ability to work with everybody else, to not be this lonely island, to contribute when needed to everybody else's problems, and really become a good team member. And that trumps everything. Cause if you have a bad person in that facility, in that area, it just poisons the well of everybody else. And it'll quickly get away from you. And we've been there before, and we weeded those people out. And like, we really, like, you know, on some interviews, if you just not really sure, like you think it's a good fit, but you're not, like, we bring them around and let all the other employees really grill them and get to know them and ask them and kind of work with them for, you know, 10, 15 minutes just to see what kind of attitude they have. Like, are they jumping in? Are they, you know, like, oh, that's not my job kind of people? Like, we don't want those people. Like, we've gotten a lot more picky on that, but just, it's really made a difference on the overall morale and output and just general attitude of everybody. And I think that if you're starting from scratch, you can really pick those people right from the front side and not have to deal with any legacy leftover people.
Yeah, I sure hope so. And you know, going into these guys, I told them, you know, I really need people that are willing to come in, look around, and say to themselves, how can I help? How can I do this better? What can I do next? Like, constantly thinking about, you know, taking the initiative to do what needs done and not just waiting around to be told. And, and, you know, I had some interviews with real young people, and I'm like, no, heck no, I can't do that. You know, not at this stage, at least. Like, someone that needs their hand held the whole time and stuff. And, so, you know, luckily I found a couple experienced people that have a bit of life experience, job experience behind them, where, you know, I know they can do what I need them to do and learn what they need to do. And that was the other big thing too. I'm like, you know, there's so many things here that we're doing that we're going to all have to figure out and, you know, all be, kind of a jack of all trades. Cause this is basically a startup, you know, cause it's me going into other people. And so, you know, everyone has to have the mindset that they're doing everything that needs done, because there's no one else to do it. It's just us, you know. So yeah, I'm excited. It should be good. And if not, we'll make corrections along the way.
Shut her down.
Yeah.
No, I think, older workforce gets a bad rap sometimes, but actually we find that those people are like, you almost need people that have had multiple jobs in the past, so they know that, like, when there's a good one, like, oh, this is actually a good job. Like, I'm not taking this for granted. Like, a lot of the younger people that have, or not actually younger people, it's people that don't have a lot of job experience. They just assume everything, they're entitled to it because they just don't know any better. They don't know what a truly crappy job is. Like, I think you and I have had crappy jobs that, you know, way underpaid for the work you're doing. And when you get a job that you're like, hey, there's a roof over my head, I'm not out in the elements, and like, this is valuable. Like, there's a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything else for you?
No, that's the main thing. We're hiring too. And, when you said about, kind of figure it out, and that figured it outness is so important. We hired a girl, named Brittany, and she, there was a thing that, I'm there to help, but like, I'm so busy that like, I went over and I said, hey, this is the computer thing. I can't remember what it was now at this point. It was, some software thing on the Mac, and I said, hey, you got to do this and whatever. And I left, and I was gotten meetings and everything. And I came back and I was like, hey, how did it work? And she's like, well, actually I needed an iTunes account to do this because it stopped there. But it was like, I didn't have one. So I just made one and I figured it out and I got this and I did all the things to figure it out. And I'm like, perfect. Like, as much as you don't have to bother me to do the job, like that is perfect. And just the ability to just think through like, hey, okay, this is my stopping block. What do I got to do to get past this? Okay. Oh yeah, I need this and boom, boom, boom. And I'm done. And not because we've had employees that'll be like, oh, it stopped at this screen and
right.
I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, well, read the screen and figure it out. Like this ain't rocket science. Super valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something else I told them too, that they got to have the attitude that they're going to go to YouTube. They're going to call tech support. They're going to figure out how to solve this problem, so, and, for some of the stuff, YouTube will be the answer. For other stuff, I absolutely know it's not on YouTube, and they'll have to contact, company for support. So
is the equipment all up and running? I mean, you said estate sales. Did the guy die?
Yeah, the guy passed away. I don't know if it must have been unexpectedly, because everything was left like it was running, and, everything was still workable running when I got there, my buddy and I got there to tear it down. So yeah, so we tore it down, we labeled stuff, we bagged stuff, so we should be able to set it all back up just like it was.
Shake photos and stuff.
Took photos. Yep.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Did you buy any t-shirt stock or anything that he had too, or are you going to just get an order all that stuff?
It didn't seem like he had any. I don't know if he just ordered it for the jobs he needed and never kept extra or something, but.
Which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. But, we got a lot of screens and everything, a lot of, like squeegees, screens, some paint, a lot of the little stuff. And we got all the little parts, like spare parts and replacement parts that he had that goes with these machines. So that's good.
And is the company that makes the machine still in business?
Yep. I made sure of that before I even bid on it. Yeah, they're still in business, so we can call their tech support and maybe even get a tech out here if we have to with a big automated press. We'll see.
Is it, was it an eBay thing, or how did you find this?
No, it was a local, like Sturgis auction company, very local. So I actually found it just looking through South Dakota auctions. Might have been
looking for more cars.
I might have been looking for an F-250 or 350 to do a Fummins swap.
Oh my God.
So I kind of stumbled across it. So,
well, that's how usually the best things happen.
Yep.
Well, that's exciting.
So Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Check out the Patch of the Month Club. Got awesome one here for February and beyond. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Also, the Patch of the Month Vault is open to the public. So if you've ever seen a Patch of the Month that you think you want, you can go to the Patch of the Month Vault and find one that you've seen in the past. Now, we don't run these again, but sometimes we have extras from that month. So check out the Patch of the Month Vault, and you might be able to pick up a cool exclusive extra before they're gone forever.
Where do you get that at? Because I'm looking at Patch of the Month. It's not in there. Is it somewhere else?
I was just thinking there's not a link. I've been sharing links on social, but if you just type month in the search bar, it'll bring them all up.
Okay.
So patriotpatch.co, and the Ryan Cross Hunter Design. If you're looking for awesome graphic design, website design, check out Ryan Cross at Hunter of Design. Also, you can shoot us an email at gunguyradio@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows here on the Firearms Radio Network. There's new shows. The AR-15 podcast is up and running again. This week,
really? Who's hosting that?
Actually, Nick Dooley, a fellow South Dakotan. He's, I took a class with him. So he is a great guy, very knowledgeable. Good show.
Cool. So what are they going to talk about since you can't buy any AR-15s anymore?
Yeah.
Unless you want to pay like $1,000 for a PSA or Anderson.
I think you start with mining the ore, and then you purify those that ore into aluminum, or I don't know.
Yeah, most of the
Pop cans. Can you collect enough pop cans to make a billet AR-15?
Yeah, and it'll turn into an Anderson.
All right. Well, that's a wrap, Zach. We'll see you next time.
See you in about a month and a half or two.
Yeah.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.